So if you're running a law firm today, chances are you're feeling it. The digital landscape, it's just shifting so fast, and maybe your website, the thing that's supposed to be your online storefront, maybe it isn't quite pulling its weight anymore. It can feel like you're spending all this money just trying to stay visible, but actually you're starting to, well, fade into the background a bit.
That exact feeling, that sense of rapid change and potential invisibility. That's really at the core of this stack of sources you've shared with us.
Okay.
The material really zeroes in on a specific challenge in legal marketing today and presents one approach to tackling it. It's mostly centered around a service called Veridictas and its founder, Daniel.
Absolutely. So, okay, our mission here in this deep dive is to really unpack these sources together. We're going to pull out the most important insights, get a handle on the problem they're describing for law firms online,
Right.
explore the solution Veridictas offers, and figure out what makes a strategy, well, unique.
Yeah.
And crucially, this is all based only on the material you gave us.
Exactly. Think of us as your guides, just walking through this specific information.
And remember, this analysis, it's custom tailored just for you, drawing directly from these specific sources you sent over. We're diving into your stack.
Let's get into it then.
Okay, so let's cut right to the core warning in these sources, because honestly, it's pretty stark. They kick off by saying, quite directly, that law firm websites are swiftly becoming obsolete online.
Wow. Obsolete. That's strong language.
It is. They call it a stark reality unfolding because of what they term significant digital disruption.
And what's key here, I think, is they don't just drop that bombshell. They actually dig into the why.
Yeah.
The biggest driver they point to. It's the unstoppable rise of AI and something called zero-click searches.
Ah, yes. This is where it gets really interesting, The sources explain that AI, especially things like Google's AI overviews, is fundamentally changing how people find information online. Well, instead of just giving you a list of links like it used to, the AI is more and more providing quick, direct responses to complex legal queries right there on the search results page itself.
Right, so you don't even need to click anywhere else.
Exactly. And the sources has a pretty compelling stat here. They note that these AI overviews are particularly prevalent in the legal niche, apparently showing up in nearly 78% of searches.
78%, that's huge.
It is. And when people get the answer right there up front, well, there's just no need to click through to your website or anyone's website, really.
Right.
That's the core idea behind this relentless rise of zero-click searches.
Okay, I see. You ask a question, Google's AI spits out an answer it pieced together, and boom, search over. If your site wasn't the direct source feeding that AI answer, you just vanished for that search.
Precisely. You became invisible in that moment.
And then you layer on top of that the evolving expectations of potential clients today. The sources describe them as digital first. They expect, immediate access to information, seamless online scheduling, things like that.
Fluid digital communication channels?
Right, all of that. And if a law firm's online presence doesn't meet these heightened expectations, the sources say they're basically ceding ground to competitors already adapting. They're falling behind.
So you put those things together, you've got AI answering questions directly, these zero-click results becoming common, and clients demanding more immediate digital experiences.
Yeah.
And the sources argue it's fundamentally altered the whole path a potential client takes online. They explicitly call this a broken traditional funnel for law firms.
A broken funnel. Okay. So the old way, just having a website, maybe doing some basic SEO,
Correct.
running some ads, it just isn't cutting it anymore.
That's the argument presented here, yeah. It's not working like it used to.
So, okay, what happens if firms don't adjust, according to this material? What are the consequences they lay out?
Well, they're framed as pretty severe. Their websites end up, quote, not pulling its weight, not doing anything for the business. They become, and I thought this was a great phrase from the sources, just digital wallpaper.
Digital wallpaper. Ouch. Just sitting there looking pretty, maybe, but not actually doing anything useful.
Exactly. And the practical impact. They risk not showing up in local search. They risk not getting phone calls. Ultimately, they risk vanishing from relevance, getting pushed to the second page of Google where, let's be honest, nobody really looks.
And the bottom line, presented in the sources, is inevitably losing market share to competitors who are adapting.
Right. And they make another crucial point. Traffic means nothing without conversion. So just getting visitors to your site isn't the goal if they aren't actually turning into leads or, cases.
Okay, so if the old model is broken, what's the alternative strategy proposed in these documents?
This is where they introduce the concept of the answer economy. It's a shift, they argue, where a firm's online value moves away from just having a website.
To being a provider of immediate authoritative solutions. Is that it?
That's exactly it. It's less about marketing your firm at people and more about being a trusted source of legal information that AI can easily find, understand, and crucially, use in its answers.
Interesting. Being the source, not just a destination.
Yeah, and this naturally brings us to the solution that's presented across these sources. Veridictas. It's described as AI-powered attorney marketing, and it's founded by Daniel. The material really positions Daniel as someone who gets the shift and knows how to navigate it.
Okay, so tell us more about Veridictas and Daniel based on what's in these sources.
Well, first off, the sources make a point of saying Veridictas is not a large company one-man show. They really underscore Daniel's direct personal involvement.
Ah, okay. So it's presented as a more boutique, hands-on approach.
Seems that way. They detail his background, nearly a decade of experience having built hundreds of websites. He's described as a technical and local SEO expert who has apparently published thousands of articles content.
So experience in the trenches, so to speak. What's his specific focus?
His specialization, according to the material, is creating high-performing law firm websites that convert. They even include a direct quote attributed to him. Most designers don't understand what makes legal websites convert. I do, definitely. The sources attribute his results to things like brute force determination, massive action, and technical precision. And there's another quite striking statement quoted: "When I represent you, your success becomes my obsession."
Wow, okay, intense focus. So what's the overall goal of Veridictas as laid out here?
Based on the sources, the core goal is pretty ambitious, actually. It's to transform a law firm's online presence into a 247 client generation machine. They talk about building digital case pipelines and basically functioning as a 247 digital partner in winning new business.
A client generation machine. Okay, so let's dive into the specifics. How does the Veridictas strategy, as outlined in these sources, propose to actually do that and tackle the problems we've been discussing?
Right, let's get into the components. First up is something they call micro-focused website design. And the sources really emphasize this isn't just about how the site looks, it's built to convert.
Okay, micro-focused. What does that entail exactly? Is it about local?
It seems to be heavily about local, yeah. The micro-focused part is key to their local strategy. It apparently involves creating custom landing pages for every town you serve. These pages are specifically designed for each by city, county, and practice area.
Ah, so super granular, hyperlocal pages for every specific service in every specific location.
Exactly. This hyper-local approach is described as being optimized to turn local Google searches into real clients. And again, it goes beyond just the visual design. It focuses on strategic functionality. They mention things like lightning fast, mobile-first design, and an SEO-driven structure as part of this.
Got it. Fast, mobile-friendly, locally targeted, and built to convert. What's next?
Next, they detail AI-powered SEO. This apparently leverages cutting-edge AI and something they call advanced microdata.
Microdata. That sounds technical. Can you break that down based on the sources?
Well, the way I understand it from the context here, think of microdata like adding really specific labels, almost like invisible tags, to your website's content that computers and AI can easily read. So you're explicitly telling Google, this piece of text is the lawyer's name, this is the firm's address, this is a specific legal service, this is a question, this is the answer, that kind of thing.
I see. So it removes ambiguity for the machines.
Exactly. And the sources say using this advanced microdata combined with AI allows Veridictas to target exactly what your clients are searching for much more effectively than older SEO methods.
And the goal of this AI-powered SEO?
According to the documents, it's to boost your rankings, driving qualified traffic, and crucially, hitting on AI summaries, those answers we talked about earlier. Ultimately, it's about converting clicks into cases and helping firms reduce reliance on paid ads.
Makes sense. Less reliance on ads if your organic presence is strong enough to feed those AI answers. What else is in the strategy?
They also highlight legal articles, AI-enhanced content. This content is described as being written to rank, resonate, and retain.
Okay, AI enhanced. What does that mean in practice based on the sources?
It seems this content isn't just general legal information. The sources say it's hyper-focused, sometimes even including custom voiceover, and it's tailored to your specific practice and local audience.
Right.
The AI-enhanced part seems to imply that the content is crafted not just for human readers, but also structured very carefully so that AI, like Google's, can easily understand it, pull information from it, and use it for those summaries.
So it's feeding the machine, essentially, building trust with humans by providing value, but also structuring it for the AI.
That seems to be the idea, yes. Designed to build trust and bring in high-intent clients who are actively looking for specific answers in that firm's practice area and location.
Now, this next component you mentioned earlier sounds like it directly tackles that zero-click AI overview challenge. Answer engine optimization, AEO.
Yes. And the sources frame this as an urgent pivot that's needed beyond just traditional SEO.
Okay, an urgent pivot. What's the core focus of AEO according to this material?
It's fascinating, actually. The focus is explicitly on maximizing visibility by optimizing for direct answers.
Ah, okay. So if Google's AI is going to answer questions directly anyway,
The strategy is to make your website the most reliable, easily accessible source that Google's AI uses for generating those answers. Be the answer, essentially.
how do they suggest doing that? Did the sources mention specifics?
They did mention structuring content in specific ways. For example, using FAQ-style content using JavaScript or schema markup.
Schema markup again. So clearly labeling questions and answers in the website's code.
That's the impression, yes. Making it incredibly easy for Google's AI to identify a question on your site and the corresponding authoritative answer you provide. The goal is making your firm's knowledge so accessible that the AI can easily read and display it right there in the AI overviews.
Which, as the sources state, is essential for not vanishing from relevance and actually gaining that valuable visibility in this new answer-first search landscape. It's proactive.
Exactly. It's about playing with the AI, not against it.
And closely related to this, the sources also mention AI-generated summaries, AGS. What are those?
Those are described as the concise, accurate summaries pulled by Google AI, basically. The output you see in those AI overviews we've been talking about.
Okay, so optimizing for AGS is a key outcome of the Veridictas strategy.
That's what's presented, yes. It's all part of taking the firm's expertise and knowledge and packaging it into those easily consumable AI-friendly formats. The goal is that when Google's AI generates a summary answering a legal question, your firm is the source it relies on and potentially even cites.
Being the cited source that's prime real estate.
Absolutely. And the sources round out the description by mentioning other, perhaps more traditional but still crucial elements. Things like strong calls to action that convert casual visitors into real clients, integrated Google business integration, tracking and analytics, and ensuring brand-accurate, attorney-approved messaging.
Makes sense. You still need the fundamentals.
Right. And all of this is apparently designed with important constraints in mind: compliance, speed, and mobile users. And importantly, the sources frame the whole thing as ethical marketing that aligns with legal industry standards, even mentioning the inclusion of local state law citations, where needed to ensure accuracy and compliance.
Okay, quite a comprehensive approach laid out there. So let's pull this all together. What does this deep dive into your sources really mean for you, the listener who provided them?
Well, I think it means you've now got a much clearer picture of a pretty significant challenge that law firms are facing online right now. This whole issue of traditional websites potentially becoming obsolete due to AI and zero-click search.
Yeah, the problem definition is very clear in the sources.
And you've explored one specific, quite technically focused strategy presented in your sources by Daniel and Veridictas that aims to directly address that challenge. The core idea seems to be shifting the focus away from just getting clicks.
Towards becoming the trusted source for the answers that AI is increasingly providing.
Exactly. Hopefully this has maybe sparked some valuable insights, perhaps even an aha moment for you, by clarifying why some of the older online marketing methods might be feeling less effective now and what this emerging answer economy actually demands from a firm's online presence.
So just to recap the core shift highlighted in these sources, it's this fundamental move away from relying on website clicks and towards being found through direct answers, often delivered by AI. It's presented as a necessary transformation, moving from a traditional website that acts like a brochure to an AI-optimized digital case pipeline that actively structures and provides those authoritative answers that search engines and potential clients are looking for.
Right. And here's maybe a final provocative thought for you to chew on, building directly on everything we've covered from these sources you shared. If becoming the primary source for AI-provided answers is becoming the key to online visibility for law firms in this answer economy,
What might that imply for any business, really, that relies on being found online? How could this intense focus on providing immediate, structured, trustworthy answers redefine what it even means to be a trusted source of information in a world that's going to be increasingly dominated by AI-generated results?
That's a really interesting question to ponder. How does any expert business prove its value when AI is the intermediary?
Definitely something to think about. And just to note, for anyone listening who might be curious to explore the specific approach detailed in these sources further, the material you provided did list a direct point of contact for Veridictas.
Ah, right.
Yeah, I mentioned the phone number 813-373-3817 and presented that as a way to schedule a discovery call directly with Daniel to learn more about his strategy. We're just pointing out that information was found directly in the sources you shared with us.
Good to clarify. Information straight from the source material itself.